Good afternoon, everyone. Name week in the morning. Momah. I'm second child, second son of the great man we are here to honor today. And I'm so pleased to be back home. Look, I'm learning on the job, so please pardon any gaps you might observe. I'm so excited at this opportunity to come home, as I said. I know it's my home, and coming here, seeing the energy, the vibrancy in everyone here, I'm so excited. I see the prospects, I see the energy, I see where Nnewi is going with all this. So thank you for receiving us, and I know we'll have a wonderful time. My job is not to bore us with any long speech. Trying to say welcome to us. People are going to speak today are very well endowed for that. I'm just here to welcome you on behalf of our matriarch, Chief Mrs. Momah, my siblings who are here, representing our firstborn, America, just like Brother Capital. And of course, Tobe, who is the brain behind this, because Brother Capital, he has worked so hard, all the way from the US. And my siblings who are not here, they're in Abuja and other parts of the country, the world, they all say, thank you for coming to honor us. I believe that we will live here empowered, we live here strengthened, we live here with ideas on how to move Nnewi and Nigeria indeed forward. So like I said, I'm not here to speak because so mine is just to welcome you all. So in that regard, I want to say welcome to all of you all. Thank you and God bless. That's a good point. Yeah, welcome home. So welcome home. Okay, let me give you a little bit look at the election. So this election is actually supposed to be chaired by the governor of Anambra State, right? So it has a clash of interest that is dictate someone to come, and we're expecting Dr. Chris to be here. Right? So there's a list but we have to proceed because a lot of people are only like that. When he comes, so there's apologies. Then the guest of today is someone all of us have always admired, right? A no-nonsense woman, brilliant woman. Sometimes when I watched him on television, I would learn how to pronounce some words, right? So one of the great discoveries of President Obasanjo, right? So she was supposed to be here, but due to what is happening in the country, right? So she couldn't make it to the airport. It was arranged that she will now do it online, right? So please, I'm so happy that we invited students, especially the ladies, the young people. You'll be motivated today. You'll see brilliance at work today. So make sure you have your pen and paper and notes because we'll learn one or two things. So, and the person is Dr. Obieze Kwesili. You know her. I'm going to read her citation. So we've not just started. When she's about to deliver her the speech, I'll read her citation so that we'll see how far a girl child has developed in this phase. Then, special guest of honor is the only female governor in Anambra State, our mother. Then, Nigeria, sorry, governor. Yes, in Anambra State and Nigeria, right? So, our mother. Yes, this woman actually, when she became the deputy governor, then my mother saw her on the television and said, "Oh, Vijay, right?" So, meaning that when my mother was in Zaria with her husband, then the uncle brought her to Zaria and they lived together. And by that time, my mom was telling me how she was beating Veggie. But I said, "Mama, you can't just do that anymore. She is the deputy governor." So, and later, she became the governor of Anambra State. A very excellent woman that worked so hard from ground to top, right? Married a celebrity. And that's why in the house, you have a lot of excellence is the basis you achieve there. in the house. And you can see that in the songs that all of them, the doctors that took to professions and they achieving great things. We nearly had a governor, another governor in London, but it will still happen. So her name is Her Excellency. Her Excellency Dame Mrs. Regis Itiaba. Is she presented? Okay. So, Chief Ben Itiaba, who is equally one of our panelists, is representing the mall. Right? Thank you. So, we are expecting great men from this town, right? So, you know, all of us know Dr. Cosmas Maduka. So, over a period of time now, we spend talking to group of people, mentoring people, testing knowledge, right? Something we never, some of us that have MBAs and all that, working in some places and all that, we've never seen it before. Common sense management, right? So he's supposed to be here. We're still expecting him because he has not called to say he's not coming. But you know the challenges of this time, the protests and all that. It disrupted a lot of things, right? But some people still make it. So that is Dr. Cosmas Maduka of Koskari's group. We know him. So then another person is the genius we have here. That all of a sudden started doing impossible things that has put Nnewi in automobile market, right? In terms of manufacturing. So in him, we know that person six is not person sense because professors work for him right now. So now, you know him, his factory is not too far away. When they said, it's not, he's just doing something, he took people there to show that you see welders at work, that this man is manufacturing vehicles. And Nigeria has seen it. He's a major contractor to Nigerian police, Nigerian army, even helps to manufacture components of our, what they use to repair our aircraft, you know, for Air Force. So he's a man that will believe and will pray that he will live forever. So this is no other person than the owner of Innocent Vehicles. In IVM, right? That's the brand, right? Chief Doctor, multiple doctor, Innocent Chukuma. Clap for him. He's on his way. So we last spoke to him in Abuja. I don't know whether he's been able to come, but this is his base. So as soon as he arrives, he will be here, right? So then we have Dr. Uche Chukwu, Director General, Board of Technology, member of Board, Technology Incubation, Nnewi here. Is he here? Okay. So now, equally we have, regrettably, and it is important that we mention his name because the Spirit is with us. Dr. Ifan Yoba, our deceased senator, was supposed to be here, right? But unfortunately, he is here with us in spirit. If may we rise up to give 1 minute silence for the soul of this illustrious Nnewi citizen and Nigerian citizen. May his soul and the soul of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen. So we are moving fast because a lot of people we invited, many people that are online, they actually work with time. So we want to cover the time we actually spent. So I may not be able to because this is actually an intellectual event, right? This is a town hall that will be different from other town halls you've always known, right? This is a marketplace for idea. This is a place where the people that know will speak today. People that don't know will just sit down to learn. Then you have the humility to learn because all of us are equally gifted, right? So people that are differently gifted in some areas will speak today. There will be panelists, right? So, and people will ask questions, but make sure you go out here with something. So I may not be able to introduce all of us that are here, but people that will speak will introduce them, but you know yourselves. Please, can we clap for everyone that is here? Yes, so it is time for me now to call Dr. Emeka Momah to come and tell us about the man, the reason why we're here. The man, in whose memory we have instituted this lecture series, and which is the fourth one in the series, right? So, Dr. Emeka, please clap for him.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Like my brother said, welcome to this Sam Momah annual lecture happening in the Navy. It gives us so much joy, so much joy. There's a very innate, intangible joy we're deriving from having this, hosting this in our late father's hometown. You know, there's a passage in the Bible that says, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And many times I always ask myself, can anything good come out of Newi? General Sam Momah was a good thing that came out of Newi. Let's clap for him. General Sam Momah was a very good thing that came out from Newi. Praise the Lord. You know, and it's about 4 years since his passing, and every year somehow I get a deeper revelation about the man himself. And I've coined this word called, I call him GSM. So in a lot of personal notes I give to myself, I say GSM would have said. GSM meaning General Sam Momah. You know, he was a man that kept evolving. You know, just like how you will have a Samsung this, Samsung that, like a cell phone, he kept evolving. He kept saying no to the status quo. He kept improving himself. He kept saying yes to every nay that he encountered in his life, both physically and otherwise. So it gives us very great joy, immense joy for the physical presence of people, individuals here, and also those online. Please, a round of applause for those online. It's not easy. Many people have committed their time, many people have committed a lot of restraint of things happening in the nation to just make time for this. So it's a worthy cause, I believe, that when all this is all said and done, we will live here much better human beings, and to the glory of God, much better nation builders for the nation of Nigeria and the Newi at large. So without much, not everything being said, I'll just read General Sam Momah GSM's bio, and just afford me a bit of time to just go through it as quickly as I can. Thank you. So General Sam Ifeanyi Chukwu Momah was born in Kano, Nigeria on July 6, 1943, into the Momah family of the Ezenwa Bachiri clan from Opunebu Umudim Newi in present-day Anambra State. He was the third child of the union between Keziah and Nathaniel Momah, and lived in his teenage years in Kano, Mina, and Isiluku, Nigeria. He attended high school in the Anglican Grammar School, Obuluku School, and in 1963 joined the Nigerian Army as a cadet officer after enrolling in the Indian Defense Academy. He graduated in 1967 from the academy with multiple awards, and on his return to Nigeria, he joined the Nigerian Army. While visiting his parents in Newi, however, he was conscripted into the Biafran Army, which had just started the civil war with Nigerian Army. On being posted to Owerri axis of the war, he was reunited with his teenage heartthrob, Ifeoma Christy Momah, my mom. Please, a round of applause for my mom here. They were united in Owerri, which family had mostly been in Nuseluku then. In the first early stages of the war, Sam and his excuse me here, my phone is Sam and his older brother Bennett died during the war, and in order to maintain the family tree, he wisely, again, he wisely decided to marry Ifeoma, my mom, at the age of 26. Please, a round of applause for that wise decision by a very wise man, a very wise decision. Their love for each other triumphed over the many years and resulted in the birth of 5 children: myself, Emeka, Nkem, Tobe, Alda, and Amaka. Quickly, so I don't waste time. After the end of the Nigerian Biafran War in 1970, Ifeoma went back to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka to continue her education, while my late dad, was still in Lagos in a hotel pending the subcommittee, Adebayo panel, to decide what to do with those individuals who had fought on the Biafran side. After that, he was what's the word? He was reabsorbed into the Nigerian army, and he served first mostly in Port Harcourt, then Jos, and then also in Lagos. As a result of the stellar service of the station, Sam was nominated by then the Nigerian Corps of Engineers, Olusegun Obasanjo, to undertake a degree in civil engineering at the Nigerian Military University in Pakistan. His studies lasted there for 4 years, and at the end, he ended up with stellar results: first-class degree in civil engineering. A round of applause. First-class in civil engineering. He rose through the ranks quickly, obtaining his PSc, Personal Staff College, in 1994, and then also his Past Staff College as well, and also FWC in 1991. In 1994, he was appointed a member of this Provisional Ruling Council, the highest ruling body in Nigeria then, and then also went on to serve as a Commander Tradoc as well, as part of his military background. During his tenure, he was then eventually appointed Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. During During his tenure as federal minister, he obtained a doctorate degree in strategic studies and served as the vice president of the Third World Academy of Science. He pioneered several programs that would pivot in advancement of science and technology in Nigeria. These included launching of the Nigerian Science and Research Development Agency, NASIDA, setting up 26 technology hubs, one of them cited here in the Navy. Please, a round of applause. A round of applause. He brought it home. He cited one of these incubation hubs right here in the Navy. And the DG, by just God's provision, so that is also from the Navy. That's Dr. Uche Chukwu. Please, a round of applause for her. She's unavoidably absent today. All right. Then he retired from the Nigerian Army in 1999 as a Major General and entered the private sector. He set up 2 hotels, one in Abuja and Enugu, Nigeria as well. Also went into the gas industry and also farming and real estate as well, as his way of contributing towards the growth of Nigeria and also investing in the young people. Let me take 30 seconds of this. My father's proudest moment of being an entrepreneur was being to enable young people and give them jobs. Many times people will enter his business not very qualified, insecure, not sure about their future, but he will take them, employ them, build them up into a place where he will pay for them to, and got them to many government parastatals. That was his nature. He helped build lives. Round of applause. Thank you. So he authored 12 wonderful books. 12 wonderful books. I can't, there are so many of them, I can't name them because time is of essence. I'm going to move right along. So in recognition of his contribution towards the development of engineering, he was also a member of National Society of Engineers in Nigeria. He created so much impact and legacy, but most importantly, his biggest legacy was his family and his nation, Nigeria. You know, also his faith. You know, there are 3 things that I remember my dad mostly about: is a service to his family, his church, and the nation. That was, you have to define my dad in 3 words: service to his family, his church, and his nation. those were the three tripods that held my dad strong in the place of service to humanity and the country, Nigeria, and Newi at large as well. So it's with a great honor and a great privilege that I have made this presentation about the man that I call GSM, the good thing that happened to Newi. And I believe that this is the beginning of many more of these serial lectures happening in Newi. We need to come together, galvanize, build upon each other's success so that we can take Newi to the next level. Newi is the future for those who are insightful. We know what's happening in Nigeria. Newi will eventually be a hub for technology, hub for incubation centers, hub for intellectuals to gather, business and otherwise, health sector, a health hub. Nnamdi Azikiwe University is coming up. Newi will likely be a health hub for the Southeast and the rest of the nation. So it's just quite, I would like to use the word prophetic, that we are starting to have this conference in the Newi. And I believe there'll be many more. There are many more of this. So our MC, right behind me. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And please, let's have a wonderful session. And thank you again for those who are online waiting for us to get engaged. We really appreciate your time, and God bless you.
Please clap for him. Dr. Momah, you did so well. So one of the things he did not say is how the general was able to raise brilliant, trained children. And in New Balance, they say that if the children turn out well, glory to the father. But if they don't turn out well, we'll blame the mom. Right? So Emeka, you did not talk about how beautiful your mom was then. So because the man married a very beautiful woman, and she's still very beautiful. And please, let's clap for this beautiful woman here. And Mommy, thank you for raising your children very well. We are so proud of you. Because as we actually clap for the man was able to achieve all this because he had a stable home, right? And the stories we hear about you, madam, very, very, I told you that before we started, you're a very good woman. And the goodness and mercy shall be following you all the days of your life. Now, we have a duplication here, but all the same, we want to have merged it, but we'll still give Dr. Tobe Momah, and also of the son, another son of General Momah, to come and tell us about Sam Momah Foundation, right? So, and I know he'll be very brief about that.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming on this August occasion. I want to thank my mother and my siblings for their support. I want to thank the honorables, the venerables, the dignitaries, all protocols observed. We are so delighted you are here. When I was in 1998, my dad had a crossroads. He knew his time in life was coming to an end, and he was looking to see how he could invest it the best way he could. And at the age of 75, after discussing with him, he decided to set up the Sam Momah Foundation. He felt that living houses and gold trinkets and cars and lands was not enough to bequeath a legacy to the next generation. He had this desire to see reading become a normal routine in our academic and our students in our general world. My dad was a lover of books. My brothers here will tell you every time we are driving to church on a Sunday morning, my dad will point to the truck pushers on the road and say, that is what happens to people who don't read their books. To a 7-year-old, to a 9-year-old, to a 10-year-old, those were very impressionable statements. It's not a coincidence that those 3 young men in the back of the Mercedes who saw those truck pushers every Sunday for nearly 10 years ended up as medical doctors. Because we knew the opposite of not going to school was pushing a truck. And My dad inevitably motivated us, even though he showed us a very negative picture. My dad was a lover of books. You come to his books, to his library, he had catalogs of books. He would spend hours in a day writing and reading. And just to illustrate how much passion my dad had for reading, in a meeting he had once in Jos, he was a council member at the University of Jos, and he was in the area, and he decided to go see what his nephew Emeka Etiaba was doing. Emeka Etiaba is a well-known SAN now in Nnewi, but at that time Emeka was doing a first-year course. He was a first-year student in political science. And my dad found Emeka Etiaba somewhere in Jos, maybe on the street, maybe on the side roads, maybe playing soccer, something. And my dad said, "What are you doing, Emeka? What's your plan? You're doing political science. Is that what you want to do?" And Emeka said, "I'm not sure. I actually feel like I want to do law." Do you know, he only mentioned that in one sentence. My dad went into the University of Jos council chambers, told the dean of social sciences, told the dean of law, and within a few months, Emeka Etiaba was in first year law. That was the kind of person he was. If you ask him for money, he may deter you. If you ask him for a contract, he may delay you. If you ask him for a favor, he may defer you. But if you ask him that you want money to go to school, you have captured his heart. He will definitely give you money. You know, he trained all his siblings to levels of education. His brother is an engineer in America. His sister is a doctor of podiatry. His other sister is a nurse. He emphasized education. That was the kind of person he was. So the Sam Momah Foundation was designed to spur a reading revolution. And just the pictures on the side here is my sister, Amaka Momah, a graduate of the University of Lagos. She was our representative at the University of Lagos opening of the Sam Momah Library in University of Lagos College of Medicine. This is the third library we are opened as a Sam Momah Foundation. We have opened a library in Abuja at the place where he was working as a chairman of the Crystal Palace Hotel. We have opened a library at the University of Nigeria Enugu campus on the third floor of the library. And this is the latest project. It's on the first floor of the University of Lagos. That's me at the National Defense Academy. This is our next project. We have talked to the commandant. It's a university, it's a military university, very conversant with my father's ideals. Our goal is before the end of the year to put a Sam Momah library at the National Defense Academy. And what we do every year, we're going to talk about it, is you can support us. You can make it happen. You can be the significant difference in the Sam Momah Foundation. All we're trying to do is get reading materials, get reading environments, get reading places that will suit people who want to read in our community. Many of you have been to places that you don't think they are suitable for people to read. That's what my dad was angst about. The Sam Momah reading rooms, if you come to Abuja, free Wi-Fi, free internet browsing, air-conditioned environments, serene, noiseless. That's what he wanted everybody to do. My dad, as a principal, will wake up at about 6 a.m. every morning and read till about 7. That was his daily routine, read till about 7. And then he'll go get ready for work. As a busy military man, he always said, if you can wake up early and study early, you will definitely be ahead of your class. I have learned that, and it has helped me, and we want to see that replicated in the lives of everyone in this environment and in Nigeria as a whole. So I'll tell you a story about my dad. He was lecturing at the University of Nigeria Enugu campus, and when he was lecturing in 1997, he came to talk about a topic they gave him, and he would be using words that typically you wouldn't expect of a military general. He used words like mitochondrial disease, words like cardiomyopathy, words like pharmacogenetics. And at the end of that lecture, my professors at University of Nigeria Enugu campus were wondering, is he actually an engineer or is he a medical doctor? And to prove to you that my dad was a lover of books, we have on display 12 of his books. in the foyer as you enter and here on the front. Two of them are biographies I wrote about my dad. I wrote a biography about him in 1993, in 2003, called A General and a Gentleman. We have the copy outside. Please avail yourself of them. It's only 3,000 naira. And last year, I launched another book on my dad called A General and a Gentleman 20 Years Later. It's a synopsis of this man who, like my brother said, has been an enigma and has been a change agent in his environment. But the bottom line is that the Sam Momah Foundation wants to bring books and reading environments to the hands and lives of people. We want our students to get these books in their hands. We want them to read in environments that are conducive and are enlightening and that are engaging. And we know that with the support of you and with the support of the government, we know that this dream that Sam Momah Foundation has, that General Sam Momah had before he passed, to birth a reading revolution in our country will be achieved. God bless you. Jesus.
Please, let's clap for today. He did so well. And he clearly passed the message, and I think the messages were well understood. But I need to recognize the government that is here, right? The local government chairman of Nnewi local government, I spoke with him yesterday, supposed to be here very early. So, and he said he needed to be in Oka because that's the thing that made governor to be here. All of them needed to attend. But it's quite amazing man that he is, that he still made it, right? So please, may we recognize our local government, the government of Anambra State. Please, let's clap for him. So just as yes. Dr. Chris, you are welcome. So this is government here. So when we were introducing the local government chairman, we didn't know that governor was coming. So probably when we start talking about governor, the president will come. Yes. Yes, please. The mom. Yeah. So, Doc, welcome. Yes. So, I do not know, Dr. Udechukwu, you are supposed to be the chairman of this event. But I know you actually joined us in the spirit. So, but at least for protocol reasons, because the governor sent you to represent him. So if you want to do like 1 minute so that we don't keep people online, a remark, right? So that we can continue. Is that okay? As the chairman of this event.
Good afternoon, everybody. I bring you greetings on behalf of Mr. Governor, Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, CFR. I bring you greetings from the Anambra State Executive Council. And I also bring you greetings on behalf of the good people of Anambra State. Today's event is a very significant one because it gives us opportunity to reflect on not just the life of General Momah, what he stood for, the values he fought for, what he represents in our community, what he represents in Nigeria, what he represented for Anambra, but it also gives us an opportunity to reflect on how to build and sustain his legacy, and also how a man like him would have dealt with some of the challenges that confront us today as a people. I'm happy to be here in my capacity both as Onyenewi, number one, my capacity as a public servant, being Commissioner for Industry in Anambra State, and also in my capacity as representative of the governor at today's event. So I'm honored to be here, and as the event proceeds, I hope I'll have an opportunity to address some of these matters as I have pointed out. Thank you all so much for being here, and for those joining us online, please, thank you all so much for your patience and your participation. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Dechuku. Thank you very much. Okay, we are moving fast. Then this is the time for keynote address by Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, who is well known. But for our students, right, the primary and secondary school students that are here.
Thank you.
So we need to, thank you very much. So we need to actually give you a little citation of this mercurial woman, remarkable person. Then Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, an economic policy expert, senior economic advisor of the Africa Economic Development Policy Initiative, and one of the co-founders and pioneer directors of Transparency International, the Berlin-based global anti-corruption organization. Dr. Ezekwesili is currently also the founder CEO of the Human Capital Africa, working in the educational sector across Africa. Dr. Ezekwesili is a founder of chairperson of the board of School of Politics, Policy and Governance in Abuja, Nigeria. She was a candidate for office of the President of Nigeria in 2019, meaning that she contested presidential election in 2019. She became a founder and chairperson of Fixed Politics Initiative, a research-based citizen-led initiative. Fixed Politics envisions a country where politics is inclusive, the needs of citizens are prioritized, democratic principles are also respected, so that good governance is a norm, will become a norm. Dr. Ezekwesili was a vice president of World Bank, Africa region, in Washington, D.C. Between 2007 and 2012. She served in government of Nigeria between 2000 and 2007. She was the Minister of Minerals and later of Education. She was a presidential aide and headed the Budget Monitoring and Price Intelligence Unit, which later became the BPE, then BPP. She was concurrently the pioneer chairman of the Nigerian Extractive Industry and Transparency Initiative, NEITI, in which capacity she successfully designed and implemented the global principles for Nigeria. So Dr. Ezekwesili also worked as the director of Harvard Nigeria Economic Strategic Project at the Center for International Development at the Kennedy School of Government, Massachusetts. She is a chartered accountant and a consultant. She holds a master's degree in international law and diplomacy, and also a master's degree in public policy and administration from Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. She is an honorary doctor of science, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria. And in 2016, the University of Essex Business School awarded her an honorary doctorate degree in business in recognition of her role in promoting economic and social justice in African countries. Dr. Ezekwesili was recognized as one of the Time that is Time magazine, 100 most influential people, and by New York Times as one of the 25 women of impact in 2015. Albert Einstein Foundation named her as one of the 100 visionaries featured in the 3D book Genius 100 Visions of the Future. Dr. Ezekwesili was a Richard van Weizsäcker Fellow at the Robert Bosch Academy in Berlin, Germany, between 2019 and 2020. She has received numerous awards and on board of numerous local and international organizations, such as Board of Trustees of International Bureau of Physical Documentation, Honorary Member, Committee of Crans Montana African Women's Forum, Board of Directors of Directors of Economic Policy Think Tank, Africa Heritage. She's an ambassador, International IDEA, member of the Global Advisory Board for Facebook's Community Leadership Program, Global Board of Governors, NCMG International, member of UN Refugee Agency, Advisory Group on Gender, Forced Displacement and Protection, member of Advisory Board of Atlantic Dialogue, Independent Director, Board of Bharati Airtel, India, member of Board of Directors, Tufts University, Global Leadership Center, Boston, USA, International Advisory Board member, Tel Aviv University, Hatak School of Public Policy in Israel,
It's enough.
Central European University, School of Policy, Public Policy, Budapest, Hungary,
It's enough.
Global Board, WFF Switzerland, Commissioner, Global Ocean Commission, United Kingdom. Then,
It's enough.
Democracy Ambassador, International IDEA, and several others. The Pearl Peace Research Institute, Oslo, listed her as one of the potential candidates for the 2018.
It's enough.
Global Board. Okay, so clap for her. She is a very humble person, right? Yes, a very humble person. So, having said enough,
It's enough.
may we now invite Dr. Obi Ezekwesili to be herself and do justice to today's topic. Please, may we welcome her with a round of applause.
Oh, Diego, that was too much now. Thank you very much, MC. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kindness with such generous citation. Manimana otegonai akebido. So we really don't have much time. And actually, no do out too late on days like this. So I am just so excited that in one way or the other, I'm able to participate in this very important annual event that enables us to continue to celebrate the worthy legacy of a man that you could look at from a multifaceted perspective. Everybody's got their own story of Dr. Sam Momah, the general. I have my own story, and those who have come to events concerning him have often heard me talk about how very admirable he was to me, and how I looked at him as a personification of a person with strong pedigree, of competence, of character, and of capacity, a man of great distinction, an honorable man. So I have always never joked with anything that concerns the person that I always called Uncle Sam. We continue to miss him very much. And we continue to stand with the family in saying that the world gets to know of the enduring legacy of this great man from Nnewi. I think that this year's event, the fourth in the series of the Sam Momah annual lecture, is really well thought out. The fact that we are giving attention to this very important matter of education. I have often said to our continent that if there are two significant problems that hold us down, the basis upon which we have lagged behind the rest of the world, it is because we have failed to solve the competitiveness and productivity problems. Competitiveness and productivity problems. We have failed to assemble all the natural possibilities and prospects that we have. And the reason that we have failed is the basis of your focus today. It is education. It is not just education for education, but education in terms of the way it cognitively and affectively transforms the individual mind of the leadership process so that the coherence that is required in mobilizing the resources that are in their natural state into a state where they progressively change society from a withering perspective toward a wealthy perspective is really something that we should be glad we're giving our attention to, especially that we're giving our attention to this in a place, in our own state, in our own region, the Southeast, in the country, a place famous for its entrepreneurial strides, and not just for its entrepreneurial strides, but also for being a domain of brilliant minds that we have seen in our society. And so my shout out to the people of Nnewi. I happen to have been born by parents from Opo, which is Nnewi South local government. And it always gives me great joy when our people are focusing on the most important priorities. And that's exactly what we have gathered to do here today. I celebrate Auntie Ife, Ife Momah, Ni Anikwense, who by virtue of being married in Abagana, is my big auntie. I am married to the Ezekweselis in Abagana. And, from the moment that Uncle Sam just gave me this hug to say to me, oh my God, I'm so impressed by you. And this was when I was in my 20s. And then I met Uncle Auntie Ife, and that was it. This family has been family to us. And I want to really thank you, Auntie Ife, for ever being a big auntie. Every time you say to me, my wife in whom I am well pleased, I need to tell you that Nisim Nazak when you say that. So thank you so much for being such an encourager of everything that I represent. Today, you've been so particular about making sure that today would happen. I just want to congratulate you for your resilience. And to Emeka, the big one who really is, holding everybody together. Your strides in the field of medicine also show that Uncle didn't waste his resources at all. I am immensely proud of the things you do, innovative mind that you are. And my shout out to, I think, Ekene, and then to Amaka, to Adaobi, all of you, God bless you. I know that wherever Uncle is, just knowing that this family continues to allow his light to shine, makes me very glad. Because as you know, I am one of Uncle's greatest fans in life. And so in his absence, I must make sure that you people are continuing to keep that flag, flying. And so God bless every one of you, and God bless the larger family of the Momahs. And to all of you that are in the hall today, I say hello to you. Now we are considering a very important, a significant topic, whether or wealthier, we examining education advances in the 21st century. I already begun to dive into the essence of education, but let me give a quote that is attributable to J.F. Kennedy, that legendary former president, deceased president of America. He said of education, he said, "Let us think of education as the means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us, there is a private hope and dream which, fulfilled, can be translated into benefits for everyone and greater strength to our nation." And if you know America well, you will know that this quote really epitomizes the kind of progress and advancement that America has made in its 250 years of being a democratic society. I am pleased to note that the concern about education comes particularly from an observation of what is going on with education at the local level that produced Uncle Sam Momah and now produced, and through him, produced many people beyond his immediate family, his nuclear family. You can see very distinguished children that are there with you today, organizing this event for their dad. But beyond that, Uncle Sam took such great interest in scholarship. He wanted people to be knowledgeable. He wanted people to be educated. That for him was more valuable than acquiring heaven and, acquiring all kinds of things. And so for it to be that we're focused on what is going on with education in Nnewi, is Nnewi withering, or is it wealthier? Which direction will it be? That's a matter of important concern. And so starting off again from where I stated that the two key problems that the continent would need to solve are competitiveness and productivity. You then know immediately that I am one of those who believe that education, not the existence of natural resources, is the basis of economic progress that is sustainable. Education, not because we found oil, not because we found gas, not because we found copper or gold or silver. The clear knowledge that we have on the basis of economic evidence is that countries that have sustained economic progress have been countries that gave their priority to the educating of their people. No matter the population of people you have, they do not become an asset. They become an asset through the education process. It is by educating the people that you convert raw human beings that constitute population to what we call human capital. Human capital is the most important driver of the economic growth and the transformation of society. And so when we look at a place like Nnewi, in the notes that Tobe sent to me, they used a particular human being, Chu Okongwu, Dr. Chu Okongwu. In the world of the economists, every one of them would know Chu Okongwu because he was a brilliant man in that field, globally recognized and celebrated for what his knowledge could produce. And so the concept note of today's event uses Chu Okongwu as a way of provoking Ndi Nnewi to say, you once produced Chu Okongwu. Where are you now? Are you withering away? Because less attention is being given to education. than was the case when that community produced a Chu Okongo, when that community produced a Sam Momah, a general and an academic in every stature of intellectual giant. And so that's the question. It then says, are you going to wither or are you going to be wealthier? Can't you one on a hall because you're the remnant of Nnewi people. Unocholi wither, unocholi the wealthier. Wealthier. I was wondering. When did I say wither? I'm wither in Jesus' name because wealthier the better. And so the joy of seeing the young children, the children in the hall, seeing the boys, seeing the girls, and knowing that everything that we discussed today really does not, it does matter to us, really. I was going to say that I am 61 this year. At the age of 61, I cannot be in the classroom as a Gen Z or a generation alpha. I am not a millennial. I am now a retired.
I'm not hearing them.
Who?
Hello?
Someone is interrupting. Hello, can I continue?
I've joined the Zoom, but I can't hear what they are saying, please. Calling from Nigeria.
I've
joined the Zoom, but I'm not hearing them.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay,
can you hear me?
I dialed this number to make complaint. Let me return to Zoom. I'm saying.
Okay. I am so sorry. There's someone who is interrupting my presentation. So I think there's a problem somewhere. I hope that the people at the engine room can please try to help the lady out. She needs to hear what's going on, but she's interrupting my presentation. So since the choice of the people but to be wealthier, not to wither, and we're talking about the educational advances in the 21st century, it is critical that we should explore what that essentially means. Well, let me say to you first that the advantage of Nnewi, that was the basis of the provocation to have this topic today, is similar to the advantage that the rest of Igbo land had in the time of the Ziks, the Okparas, the Akanibians, and such great legends, including my uncle, Chief Mbazulike Amechi, that we lost, well, recently, more or less. And in that period, there was serious education gap between the Southeast and the Southwest. And that gap was accounted for by the fact that the Southwest, being mostly in the coastal regions of our country, were faster in having the connection to the colonial United Kingdom, Britain, colonial Britain. And from missionary to church-related activities, schools came along. The Southeast was hinterland, so it's inland. And so the entry of the colonial Britain into the Southeast was later. And that gap accounted for the leg up that the Southwest had as far as education was concerned. But guess what eventually happened? That gap was not just closed by virtue of the concept of Onyaga na Nwanne ya, and the community spirit, whereby communities decided to bank on the brilliant children amongst them. For as long as a child could be educated, that child was given the opportunity of schooling. And so through the community spirit of Igwebuike, communities across the Southeast began to invest in educating as many people as possible. And that led to a massive buildup of literate people in the sub-region, in that sub-region of Nigeria. And then fast forward to the challenges of the Civil War and the post-Civil War readjustment needs of the Southeast. And suddenly there was a distortion that occurred. There was a delinking of the concept of Igwebuike to the concept of building community human capital through education. And in fact, a survivalist mode of saying we have been deprived of our economic capabilities because of the war and the war policies. Therefore, the most important thing is for us to gain back the wealth that we lost. Once the mindset of the Southeast went in the direction of reaccumulating lost riches, education suffered. And nowhere did it suffer more than in places like Anambra State. And nowhere did it suffer even most than places like Nnewi, Okpo, Amichi, and those communities. And so this Momah lecture might well be that pivotal moment when something is reignited, the spirit of the community Igwebuike approach that enabled us to close a gap, a historical gap in educational attainment that once existed when compared with other regions of our country. And so if we added the concepts that I have already laid out, the concept of the value of education, how the index of economic progress, social stability, and society's resilience measured as the well-being of society is correlated to the stock of human capital that has been produced by a society. If we kept that in our minds, and then we connected it to the issue of the 21st century advancement in education, then we would see how far from the mark we currently are, using Nnewi as a case study. I want to state clearly that often people immediately think of the challenges of not having enough graduates in a society as the key problem of education. Or some others say it is no skills are being produced as a problem of the society as far as education is concerned. Based on research, we have a different understanding. And that's where I want to start from and perhaps even end at. So the key thing, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the matter of educational advancement and advancing education in the 21st century, the key thing that we have learned is that the most important skill that a person in this 21st century must have as a matter of a sine qua non skill is the capacity to read with understanding, the capacity to successfully do some basic math operations, the capacity to have what we call socio-emotional skills, all of them by the age of 10. That by the age of 10, a child should have gone through sound schooling in early grades of 1, 2, 3. And that when we can guarantee a child what we call the foundational learning skills, we have already positioned that child for the 21st century. That's what research is telling us. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen, what we currently have on the continent of Africa and across Nigeria, less so in the Southeast, is that 9 out of every 10 children that are even in the school system are not achieving minimum proficiency level in these 3 critical skills that I spoke about. Kirife mean, what it means simply is that they are in school but not learning. So that by the age of 10, compared to their contemporaries, for whom such a solid foundation enables their further performances, brilliant performances at all other levels of education, and ultimately in engaging life, they are sure to not optimize the innate capabilities that President Kennedy spoke about in that quote. So the first thing that I must insist on is that we should, as in the Navy, look around us and demand for the local government to do a deeper assessment of the state of foundational literacy, foundational numeracy, foundational socio-emotional skills in all the schools in the Nnewi local government. And going from a Nnewi local government, since a representative of the government is amongst you, widening it to all the schools across the state. Even though it is 9 out of every 10 not really learning, even though they've been passed through school or they are passing through school. But we are lower, well, not that lower. If you still have 6 to 7 of the children who you see, people not even if akpafa, bulu akpa, ne sweat, ne just school, but they haven't learned, they haven't achieved what the world, because you said 21st century. And when I think 21st century, I don't think of 21st century from a community level. I think of it as a global concept. Therefore, the children that we're talking about, but children that should be competing against their peers in all other regions of the world, in all other Nnewi-type communities in the world. If their children are achieving minimum proficiency level in literacy, numeracy, and social-emotional skills, then the Nnewi child that is not achieving it is not part of the world. And yet, they live in the world. So, number one thing, therefore, is that we must have this fierce sense of urgency on the need to correct the system that is failing the children. Because what we found also through research is that children are eager to learn. but they don't get the opportunity of learning. And there are two crucial things that you need to take away in terms of this gap between being in school and not learning. It is that the quality of the teachers is one, but even worse is the method of teaching. The teachers can be, BSc, MSc, and you put them in a primary school, but if they don't understand the method of teaching to enable a child actually learn, we would invest in education. We would fund education without investing in education. An investment in education should offer us rate of return to the child, to the community, because we opened up a world of knowledge to children. So clearly, we must fix foundational literacy and numeracy. It's foundational literacy, numeracy, and those affective skills, because those skills of social, emotional are going to be the skills on the basis of which the character of a child is formed. They are so important, fundamental, especially in a society like Nigeria that has gone awry, where people do not realize that it is character that is the currency of life, that every other thing has no meaning. Character is the currency of life. It's inexhaustible. Character, when we're missing it out in those early grades for the children, the choices the children will make in life will always be tainted choices. And so we must take a very strong interest in the matter of character education. So foundational learning is the composition of how well we reposition the education system in all the primary schools, the basic schools, and then to be schools where the child, by the age of 10, can stand shoulder to shoulder with their counterparts, with their contemporaries in other parts of the world, especially places like Singapore, with which we started the journey of nation building together, but which today has an income per capita of $60,000 per annum, whereas we, the country that the rest of the world banked on when we gained independence in 1960, we are miserably struggling to keep an income per capita of $2,500. Think of the gap. Singapore, $60,000 income per capita. Yeah, wealth in Singapore, we care equally amongst their population. We are again with $60,000 on an equal basis. Population GDP equally. Now with less than $2,500. Meanwhile, the Singapore are now with 60,000. If we go the gap, that's the wealth. That's the issue of wealth. And that can be clearly evidenced because now Lee Kuan Yew, the president of Singapore, the prime minister legendary prime minister of Singapore, he said to his people, gas, oil, African countries in all kinds of resources. Resources. Even our junk to say, we have ourselves. We are the people that will convert a withering environment into a prosperous environment. And he emphasized education. Not only did he emphasize education, he ensured there was equality of access to the kind of education that I've been speaking about. Access, inclusion. There ought not to be any Newi child that should be in school that is not in school. we as a town, as a local government can achieve this. There's no basis for the what do you call it? The inequality that exists in terms of inequality of access. How can it be when the people of Nnewi understand that there are models of community, public, private partnerships that can change the story of Nnewi people, then they would be pioneers in solving the problem of lack of access, low enrollment, caused by different factors, economic factors, socialization factors, where people have been told, we need to build wealth. Education is a scam. It's better to be wealthy than it not so those values distortion. We will have to really take interest in a mindset reset. A mindset reset is important in Nnewi, in Ukpo, in Amich, in Ozubulu, everywhere in Anambra State. A complete value reorientation to say to those people who think that the essence of life is Nijeje Bukata, Ijeje Pakota, Jebuteako, without even some of them, without any righteous origin. There's nothing, it's not value-based, it is not work-based, it's not effort-based, nor just bute. So you find a situation where when people talk about fake products, Southeast Africa, just because the mindset has decided to depart from the things that our own fathers and mothers of that era, and catch it up, really placed on the table as a rallying vision for our communities. It's important to acknowledge the Momah family for steering this provocation of Nnewi people having to think about it, think hard about it, because it is important so that we can correct for a better future. So correct everything in foundational learning. Now, to tie foundational learning to all the other things that are the advancement and the advancing vehicle for the 21st century. Let's talk about skills education. A lot of what we have found is that in places like Nnewi, there is a real practice of the skills education through the apprenticeship system. As a matter of fact, the greatness of that system took it all the way to Harvard. And a case study of the apprenticeship model is one of the key things that you have to go through if you're going to get your MBA at Harvard. That's significant. It's incredible. That's progress. That a model of apprenticeship practiced in our state, particularly, or a global sensation. However, this is the downside to point out. What has happened is that people say, onye nwere ike ịgụ akwụkwọ, ya jee mụọ afịa. Or even onye nwere ọgụgụ isi ịgụ akwụkwọ, ya jee mụọ afịa. And then they rob them of these basic foundational skills, Nkufu Makaya, that I just said, I spoke about elaborately on. Guess what? Those people will be sub-optimized. They will not be at the fullness of their possibilities because the gap of what they did not get through foundational learning will follow them through. For example, when people say, if a child does not know how to read, they should go and do some, learn how to be a mechanic, learn how to be a trader, learn how to be an electrician. Well, it turns out from research globally that for you to be a brilliant technical person, you're going to need foundational literacy, numeracy, and those skills, and those affective skills. Or the person you're asking to go and be an electrician without knowing how to read, is he not going to read the 21st century product guides in order to be at the level and the best form of service or product provision? Onye senior J more plumbing, onye senior J more how to be a mechanic. He needs these fundamental skills in order to thrive. And therefore, we're finding that skills development is also retarded, not to the level, for example, that we see in Singapore. 20% of the children that enter the school system in Singapore will ultimately end up in skills-based education. But guess what they do? They make sure that those solid foundational literacy, numeracy, social-emotional skills are given to them. They are immersed in it. And that is why from the 20% that go on to skills-based education, Singapore is able to produce contributions to its economic growth higher than a huge population that is called Nigeria. I talked about the two key problems that we must solve on our continent as being the productivity problem, the competitiveness problem. I've given you evidence of how these things happen. And then, of course, we move on from skills-based education, and we think of the fact that the education of the 21st century is more and more emphasizing STEM. It's talking about science, technology. I wish Uncle were here, because this was his thing. He could rather science, technology, even if we were sleeping. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM. This is where the world is, because the fourth revolution, and in fact, the fifth revolution, is already with us. Now, can you imagine the competitive edge that Newi would have? A people of incredible brilliance, naturally talented people. Imagine that we were immersed in the knowledge of school systems and education systems that enrich and invigorate the capabilities of children having solid foundation, moving on to secondary education or to skills-based education, technical and vocational as the case may be, but with their solid foundation. Then they go from their secondary education and they attempt their tertiary education from the perspective of a design that emphasizes not just humanities, because humanities are very important aspects of knowledge, very important, significant. This is how society works. That values. Society's got its values. It celebrates its culture. The way a people do their things ultimately determine the institutions that society would have. And so humanities, now imagine a layer on humanities where we have a clear strategy that is inclusive, enabling many more children of Newi to have the opportunity of STEM education. Not just the boys, but the girls. Because you cannot optimize if all you're doing is thinking that only the boys should have opportunities in life. No, we have found that societies that are at the top of the economic league table, communities that are at the top of the economic league table of the world, are the ones that give equal opportunity to thrive to both their men and their women. If you want to be at the lower end of the league table of life, of the world, you should always exclude your women from opportunities. Now, we need to think of STEM, a strategy for science, technology, engineering, and math as a scholarship, as a pathway of knowledge, because we people are entrepreneurial people. There is absolutely no reason why in the global value chain supply, Newi would not be showing up at the top of it. Because think of the diversity. Innocent is in a Newi. Many other companies that are doing interesting manufacturing activities are in Newi, but they are not global. They're not global yet, only because we do not understand the importance of structure. We do not understand the importance of integration into existing systems.
Go and bring
we do not
Bluetooth.
Understand the importance of
find something, clean your body fast.
Madam, please mute yourself. You're interrupting my presentation. There's a woman who is speaking. Please mute yourself. Thank you very much. We do not understand the power that lies within a Newi. There's no reason why a Newi should not be showing up on the global map as an economic hub. You know what it means to be a growth pole? Newi should be. It cannot be without embracing the concept of advances of education in the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, I have spoken long enough. I just want to, round up on the note that the things that I have said are not. Can people who are on this Zoom please mute? Because if you're not muted, Amaka Oragui, Eze Junior, there are a couple of you that are not. Can you mute yourself? Dr. Eze Jr., I'm listening to your conversation at home. Please, can you mute yourself? So in bringing this to closure, I want to emphasize that community help. Okay, can you still hear me? I'm not sure that I am still being heard. Can somebody tell me that they are hearing me?
Auntie, sorry, Tobe here. The power went out in the hall. So yeah, so the power went out in the hall. Just give me 10 minutes to get the generator. I mean, we have a generator we paid for. So I'm trying to call the young man.
All right then. So we'll wait for you. And that's the part I was going to go into. A matter of, you can't rule the world by ignoring public service. You can't. You do need to be, maybe people have to show more interest in how they are governed. What governance problem would that now know about? And I cannot struggle with these matters. It's unbelievable. Okay, I'm not even muted. I thought I was muted. Hello to the online participants. Hello.
Yes, yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay. So far, so good. Was it coming out clearly? Please give me a feedback.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much. Dalo Norine, thank you.
Are you hearing me too?
I can hear you, yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah. And you've been doing very well. We've been hearing you very well, loud and clear.
Just very clear.
Excellent. All
very,
right.
very clear. I mean, sorry, are you hearing me too?
I can hear you, Uncle.
Good. This is Professor Muchaz.
Yes, I can hear you and I can see you.
I've listened to the entire lecture.
Others
are hearing. I wanted to comment now.
Okay. Others are hearing. My name is not so saying you have none online Ghana no because fakal na try you sort talk.
Well, why should it take them 10 minutes? They know the importance of this lecture.
That is Nigeria for you.
Well, they know the importance of this lecture.
That's why Nigeria can move forward.
Well, we are not going to debate on this, but I can make some of my comments.
Yeah, I think if you make it, if they can sort it out so that the greater number of people can equally hear you.
You're advising me to wait or what?
I think so, sir.
Basically now. So you want only 13 people to hear what you're saying?
No, the audience are those students there. If we can get 2 or 3 of people to get into it, it's a success.
Well, it's
we online know what the situation is.
No, never mind about those excuses. This was well planned. In fact, I was very impressed. Yes. It was meant to hold between 12 and 2. It's now 2:16. But he's done very well. I'm happy Obi was able to be there and present his papers. Yeah. In spite of the uncertainties of the time, all the same. The planners did well, but they could have anticipated some of these problems and decided on ways of circuiting them. So that's that anyway. When you are ready, tell us. I'll just make some comments. Is that all right?
It should be all right, Uncle. I think Rita, are you in the hall?
Today is on ground.
Yes, I'm in the hall now.
Okay, so they are sorting the power thing out, right?
Yes, they've gone out to see what's going on with the generator. They actually paid for a generator, but I don't know why they ever thought NEPA would be an option. I wouldn't have touched NEPA at all. But I think they're working on it now.
Okay.
Yeah. But let me get a clear report, and I'll get back to you on the Zoom.
Right, that's very good. God bless you.
I think today is on the ground there. Yeah, it's terrible.
Ronaldo, I joined the line. I joined the prayer line.
Yeah, I'm running too. I was running the prayer line too.
Yeah, I was doing the same too. But you remember, guy, I didn't YouTube. I watch when I can pray.
I want to watch it live.
Okay. My fair.
Well, I wanted to. Well, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, that's okay. Hey.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah,
it was a good.
Do we continue to wait?
Yeah,
we have to wait, Uncle.
Rita will give us. Rita will give us the go ahead.
Well, that's all right.
Good afternoon, Ma. Please, can you continue with the lecture? We had a power challenge here, but we are back now.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I was beginning to conclude, and I was going to pivot, try to pack all the things that I've said so far and use it as a hook to my final set of points. So again, let me re-emphasize that if we got the Nnewi education revolution, I'm sowing some seeds in the mind of Nnewi people, that if there's a revolution that is necessary, it has to be Nnewi education revolution for 21st century world-class skills. 21st century world-class skills can be the vision. It can be the vision to transform Nnewi to a global economic growth pole. That's a desirable vision to articulate. And that if we thought of it that way, then we would know that everything that I've said about foundational learning, what I've said about skills-based education, what I've said about humanities and the importance of STEM, what I've said about the value of Igwebike, of the community, going back to the ancient landmarks of what the Ziks and the Akanoibians and the Mbono Ojike and Basilika Mechi and Orizu, Igbo Orizu, all of them, the kind of way they felt challenged to close the gap. The fact is that they closed the gap at a time when closing gaps, it was harder then to close the gaps in educational attainment. Now, it is easier because of the power of the 21st century, and that power is technology. That's where I begin to get this thing to title. Technology. What we have seen of technology is that the exponential capabilities of technology changes the dynamics of who is out and who is in. There's no way that Nnewi as a people should be outside of technology. They should be at the leading edge on the matter of technology. Why? Because when we've looked around and looked at the country far and wide, what we found is that the Southeast competitive edge is innovation. Innovation. And technology is at the center of innovation. So what are we doing? Not understanding that Africa missed the agrarian revolution. Africa missed the industrial revolution. Africa even missed the early happenings of the knowledge revolution. But Africa has not missed the ICT revolution. And what the ICT revolution is doing for Africa is unbelievable. Do you know that the telecommunication sector, technology, is adding more to growth today in our country, Nigeria?
That's true.
Technology is adding some 14% to growth. Oil is removing away from growth. So for those in Anambra State that rejoice about, I'm telling you again, technology today adds 14% to growth. Nigeria's oil removes away from growth. If it adds in years that it is not minus growth percent, it is actually adding something so low compared to what technology is doing. So we must, as Nnewi, as we think of the strategy, see the incredible 21st century opportunity that is offered to us to accelerate closing the gap that brought us together. The fact that enrollment numbers are low, that more girls are showing up in school, but the boys are going out. We've said we can address that by a values reorientation, a reset. The right sets of models in Nnewi have to carry the message of the importance of not abandoning education. The fact that education is the critical impetus that will enable Nnewi operate. The ambition of Nnewi cannot be, we're doing better than other towns in Anambra. What rubbish is that? Nnewi should be at the center of the global value chain of supplies. Anything you see today comes from various parts of the world. We have our own competitive edge that through education, we can crystallize. Technology is the great game changer for that which we purpose to do, to advance the 21st century kind of education in the Nnewi. And I end on the note that all of what I have said, if Nnewi people continue to not care about how they are governed, it's a shame. Because, truth be told, the reason government exists is because there are some common problems that cannot be solved privately, optimally. Private initiative cannot optimally solve the problems that governments must solve. And therefore, the people of Nnewi must pay more attention to, starting from the local government to the state government. You must demand for accountability. The Nnewi local government should be accountable for what kind of vision it has put on the table and what kind of strategy it has for enabling the vision to be realized. Nnewi local government has to be accountable for the revenues that it collects and how it spends it, especially because we see now that if we can connect an ambition for education, for world-class education in Nnewi to the entrepreneurial capabilities, innate ability of the Nnewi person to be imaginative, to be creative, we can dust the rest of the world. To that extent, therefore, it is important that Nnewi people should pay attention to public accountability, public governance, and not simply say, Ayakero, we will be fine. No, public policy can just cancel out every competitive edge that Nnewi generates for itself. Public policy, that's all the people that care about governance will do. They just use one policy and they take you back to the starting off line. Is that what we want again? Definitely not. So in all that I have said, the importance of politics and governance must not be lost on the Nnewi person, the Nnewi community, the Nnewi Union. And by the way, in caring about politics and governance, you must care for the quality of politics and governance that makes sense. The quality of it we have found that where there is poor quality of people operating governance, it is harder for people, no matter how gifted they are, to be the best that they can be. And so Nnewi should lead the way in demanding for people who have character, who have competence, and who have capacity as the basis of public leadership, because your public policy will enable the private initiative and endeavors of the Nnewi people. I tell you that it's been my delight to present this year's speech. For whatever we do, let's remember that our 21st century skills, critical thinking, communication skills, creativity, problem-solving capabilities, perseverance, collaboration, information literacy, technology and digital literacy, of all of these things, I can tell you clearly that I see some 4 or 5 that define the Nnewi character. Now layer on what you come with as a package, layer on it the spirit of collaboration. This individual success that only leads to collective underperformance should come to an end. Nnewi people should be interested, not just in individual success, but also collective progress. And collaboration is at the center of achieving that. And then information literacy should be of great interest to us. Technology skills and digital literacy are the center of building very strong systems of education that work and are inclusive. Igwebike, Jisenike, thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.
We can do better than this. I know that Dr. Ezekwesili can see us. You know, Nigeria just happened to us. So we're using generator here, and the poor generator packed up. And we're in our Nigeria, inside this place, fighting ourselves. But so sorry, it's just an operational hitch, which we are used to in this side, and I hope we'll get better. So thank you, Dr. Ezekwesili, for beautiful lecture. We were actually taken to the crescendo. You were taken up to the crescendo when they took light, and there was a break, and you concluded so powerfully. So just a little summary. So she told us that we need to have a functional education.
Do we need the summary?
Hello?
Do we need the summary?
Let the MC decide that.
That's Professor Muchazi. Professor Muchazi is asking you.
Okay,
do we need the summary?
Okay, I don't think actually we need the summary. Rather, this is recorded, we will circulate it so people can actually...
No, we don't need the summary. We listen to her all through.
Okay. Prof, thank you very much.
Let a few people comment.
Okay, good. So I think we will listen. Prof, would you want to comment briefly?
Yes, if you want me to comment, I would like to.
You have 1 minute, sir. Go ahead.
I need more than 1 minute.
Okay, we'll make it 2, sir.
I will probably make it 5.
Okay, sir, that's fine. It's a deal. 5.
Beautiful. But I want to commend the family, whoever teamed up with them to come up with this topic. It's very thrilling. And the subtitle is Examining Educational Advances in 21st Century. I'm sure Nnewi is used as a metaphor. It's not really concentrating on Nnewi. I think they are concentrating on Ndibo. It's out of humility. They didn't want to go beyond what they have come up with. They're thinking about Ndibo, and I congratulate them. I'm sure people know who General Momah was. was a distinguished personality, was accepted, a distinguished soldier, was accepted by civilian governments. He served at boards, chairman of boards, served in educational council, university council, was a minister. He was a wonderful somebody. Now, original thinker of man and society. If he was not in the army, he would have joined us in the university. But that's a proposition, not for our discussion now. I want to thank Obi as the president for his wonderful discourse of this topic. I know her very well. Incidentally, we are all the same family, so to say. I'm married to the first daughter of Baron Dr. Sir Ezekwesili, the former principal of St. Augustine's Nkwere. The only secondary school in Nigeria has Igbo as its motto, Igbo Anyidanda. I know, of course, the wife from an across the family. She's a distinguished educationist, very humble. In fact, my immediate younger brother worked under him during the war. I know him very well. He's a humanist. As a soldier, he can be firm, but he considers the needs of people and can take decisions. So it's a good thing they've come with this kind of topic. They're asking us to do some real thinking. Ezekwesili came up with a number of ideas. He talked about value orientation. He thought he just no, beyond that. He talked about foundation linkages of educational system. Fair enough. We're not talking about just the literary and theoretical aspects. We're thinking about what education really is. When CMS set up St. Augustine, DMGS, and schools in Asaba and Oka, they tried to exemplify what education really means. It involves skill and so on. Labor is not just a theoretical undertaking. That's not it. Opara came in 1959 to 1966, came in with the educational system that changed the orientation and supplanted their neighbors within this short period of time. And we had to produce DK in Joko Abbas. Incidentally, Abbas is from Newu. You can see. We are talking about the educational system. Newu is not lowly placed. We have Okongu Grammar School, as the Obi mentioned. Look at Chuokongu. We have a secondary school, the other secondary school, founded by one of us. Now, industries are coming up in Newu, including mechanical, motor, and all sorts of things. You know, shoes, all kinds of things are all in Newu. It's significant. And he's just talking about Newu as trying to call on Igbo what to think about. Education is changing. We talk about artificial intelligence now. But education is changing. Many courses in the universities are not where up to now. They are out of date, so to say. Incidentally, I'm a university product, and I'm advanced in university education. I'm getting nearly to 90, if you don't mind. I'm getting to the 90. I mean, once you're up to 85, you're almost 90. You can approximate. So I know there are changes taking place. And we are being called upon to think about all these things, not to ignore acquisition of labor, skill, and all sorts of things. These are what we are concerned with about the educational system in this country. Brigadier Momah set an example. All his four sons are medical doctors. All his four sons. The girl is also a professional. And he has set up educational program. The foundation. This is what he wanted to teach people to understand what is going on. As I said, he's a man of integrity, a humanist. He should have been with us in the university if he didn't go into the army. It's a pity he died early. But he set up a foundation, strong foundation, both here and probably beyond. Well, if that is the bell for me, I will just conclude by saying, well, let the Almighty receive his soul and grant his soul peace in his bosom. But I thank Obi for spending time to do this. What he has come up with, if we deliberate on it, we produce a volume to analyze it and direct our people, the government. Where are we heading to? We are thinking about old system. Things are changing, and we have to appreciate it that things are changing, including the educational system. Many of those inventors who got electricity and all, they were not graduates. And in any case, it's not because you're a professor or you have a PhD that brings you out as an intellectual. Even if it's because of the time you spent in research, a disciplined mind, and you can confront a problem with that kind of discipline and come out with a solution.
No problem.
That is my challenge now. So I thank all of you for coming up. I thank the family. I thank Obi for finding time to come. It's a pity we are not around. But I plead, whatever questions we can get later, it can be expanded. We can get a little monograph that may make the head of Anambra State is an academic. Really do some thinking. This family has come up with an idea. Can we think about it?
Thank you, sir.
I thank all of you very well for listening to me. I wish you well.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Prof.
Thank you.
That was the voice of Professor Elochukwu Amuchazi. You know him. Yes, he doesn't need introduction. So I believe that he has opened the mind of all our people online, right? Because we need to actually, yes. So now let us go. Some people, I will give opportunity for two students, because I know Dr. Obio Ezekwesili is still online. So two students to ask questions. Thereafter, we'll move to panel discussion that won't last more than 35 minutes. So that will be bringing this to a closure, right? So now, two students, you can indicate by raising up your hand. Any question, anything you want to ask her. She was, educationist, former minister for education. And there are a lot of other learned people there that can answer questions you did not know. Raise up your hand. Student, I'll tell your principal. Okay, I'll call somebody to ask questions now. Unless you tell me your name. Who? You. What's that question you want to ask? Stand up. Don't worry, you don't have to come out. Just stand up, say your name, your school, and ask questions.
Yes.
Who wants to ask? Who? You. Okay. Are you the senior prefect? Okay. You have to learn how to speak to public. Come. You'll be so shocked you will come out on network news today. Yes. Your name, your school.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Caleb Obiajero Enyibuako. The name of my school is Dr. Alice's College of Excellence and Computer. I heard about what she said. She taught us many things. She said that she gave us some points about education. That education is the most powerful things you need to know. So I want her to throw some point to us, like we are all students here, to throw some point to us and tell us more things, good things that you need to know and hold about education that will hold you enough to be something in life.
Thank you. Yes, you. Were you told not to speak? And you want to speak, right? Stand up. Say something. Or rather, just stand up and tell us your name. I'll collect my phone. Don't worry.
My name is Chidebere Febo. I'm from Anglican Girls Secondary School. So when I heard her saying about education, there's still a common saying in Igbo land that after one finish education, there will be unemployment. So this discouraged one. From learning. So I want her to describe it. Is it true that after all the learning and certificate, there will be unemployment?
Clap for her. You see, yes. So, Dr. Obieze question, please answer the question. We said 2 students.
Those were very good questions, but especially the question.
Please hold on, ma.
Okay.
My name is Okeneli Shikemi. I am from Cantina International School in JSS1. I'm here to display some questions from the beautiful lecture from Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. My question is, why is education not fundamental as it is supposed, especially in Navy, but business is?
Oh, hello. Okay. Doctor, please go ahead.
I have to tell you that I am very happy. I'm happy to have this interaction with our children, because I mean, if we can get them this excited about education, most of the problems we're discussing will definitely be solved in their generation, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So the first question that he asked is, why? What are the things that he should know as one who is in school today that would enable him navigate life well? And so I would repeat for you again, those skills that I said are very critical for children to have, which the school system today is actually not offering them. That's why you pass through school, you come out, and there's not much that school has done for you. So number one is this critical thinking. Critical thinking, that capacity for you to actually think in a way that is deep. So Obuna, if we fact, you're looking at things and you can connect the ideas that are behind the things that you're looking at. I'm trying to make it as basic as possible so that even the younger ones that are the students in there will understand. There's a concept that we have called Ako Nuche. Okwaya, am I going in the right direction? For those of you that don't know, so Ako Nuche, that capacity, it comes out of the person's ability to think. Then not just to think, but to think in a critical way. Critical meaning the most important things. Instead of getting carried into the issues, the mundane. I'm using concepts that I'm not sure are not too complex for these children. How do I break this down? Nadu, maybe you have to come and help me. And that Professor Nadu, I think you can help me better with connecting my Igbo to to my English. so critical thinking, but to make sure that now somebody, but when you're looking at a matter, when you're thinking of an issue, when you're trying to solve a problem, you would be like an Einstein. Einstein said, if I want to solve a problem and I have been given 60 minutes to solve it, the first thing that I would say to myself is, if I can ask the right questions, I will get to the answer, to the solution to the problem. So what did he say? He said, I will use 55 minutes of my time asking the right questions, and I would now need only 5 minutes to find the solution. So critical thinking enables you to ask the right questions. If you are the right questions, then on the basis of the questions, and you would find solutions. So you need the skills of critical thinking. You need the communication skills. Communication skills. The world will not understand what you have until you're able to effectively communicate it, whether it is through a verbal, oral communication, or it is through written communication, or it is even through just human connection and the way that non-verbal communication happens. So you need the communication skills. You need the creativity. Creativity is at the heart of people's ability to find new solutions to problems. They are creative. It's inherent in us, the capacity to create. Like why in we Nokata decided that something about the services that women need, that I can create a solution for it. She's using her creative skills. Problem solving. You need those skills. So students, like all of you that are students, there are some problems in your community, in your school, that you can identify and decide that I would solve this problem. A problem of people throw trash in the school compound. They throw it in the classroom, they throw it. You can decide, I want to solve this problem. We're going to have a pick that trash club. We are going to be the ones who say that our school compound, our classrooms will always be clean. That's problem solving. Problem solving can be in any dimension, complex problems, simple problems, but you have to have the skills to solve problems. And then perseverance, that capacity to endure. Yeah, you haven't found the solution to something and you endure, you persist in looking for it. You don't want easy life. The people who want easy life offer drug pushers, drug carriers, and all kinds of activities, nefarious activities. You don't need that. The thing, what we know of life is that ego is so ennobling. Okay, dignity. Okay, for dignity, dignity ugu, and then collaboration. In need collaboration. I can see UMC. Collaboration with skill. You get need meaning that now you got water that no phone so you need to collaborate. You have to have the spirit to cooperate with others, collaborate with others. Small is no longer beautiful. You can do bigger things by joining hands with others, collaboration. Then you need to know information literacy, the capacity to find information on any matter. Today Google and many other possibilities exist, but go beyond that, to get to information literacy. Then technology skills, like we were just saying, a world that is disruptive technology inclined, mobile blockchain technology, mobile AI, artificial intelligence, mobile simulation science data, mobile algorithms, mobile all kinds of science, Internet of Things. all of those technology levels that is so sophisticated, but immediately you're curious enough to connect yourself into them. It takes you many levels higher than those people with those skills. So all of those things, they're important. But my fundamental message to you is I need every one of you who does not have a solid foundation in the capacity to read, and Onya Kpatalu, Uncle's foundation, Jiwena emphasize reading. When you read with meaning, you read with understanding. You have to go and close that gap. Those of you Amaro, how to do basic numeracy of mathematics, you have to go and close that gap. Those of you Amaro, the skills of effective knowledge, how to just conduct yourself in social relationship, in relationship with others. You have to learn all of those, because those are the things that will be useful for you through your education. And then the question, is education a scam? Can I get educated and just know that I will join the queue of people who are in the unemployment corner? Well, it depends on how much of your life you have decided to be responsible for. You have to take responsibility. If you took responsibility today to say to yourself that I will not be one of those that end up in the unemployment queue, I will not only learn what I'm being taught in the classroom, but I will connect myself to emerging opportunities in technology, in small innovations. And there are many children around the world, similar to you, where their governments are as hopeless as the hopelessness we see in governance at state level and federal level in this country. But what they have done is to break beyond the boundaries and the cap that their countries are putting over them. And they have connected to solutions that are global. So you can break out of unemployment. You can do a lot of things around technology, around skills that will change your story. And by the way, the internet, the knowledge economy, the global economic space of the internet has offered people much wider, broader opportunities. So you can't afford to just agree with anybody who says to you that education is a scam. It is not a scam. And then why is education not as fundamental as or enterprise go because
business?
As business is fundamental. That's why we're gathered. People like compared to so I when I say that now, part of it may values reorientation. There was a time in our own part of the country up with that naive values the education. Fane zikanya, fane orizu anya, ene akanu biamanya, ene basilika mechianya, ene the women, Flora Nwakpafa, ene fanya ugu ija akwụkwọ was there. Yeah. So that ugu ija akwụkwọ me onye ọbụla chọọ ije akwụkwọ mana ife wee tụgharịa o wee bụrụzie ndị na-azụ afịa ga-apụta si prọfesọ ya mechie ọnụ na ọmara ife ọ na-ekwu ya ego ne ka okwu ya nwa wọtụ ka enye ya mana that is very local mindset. Your generation must have a global mindset. You must have a global mindset. You don't belong to the local. You don't belong to the global. And Onya Kanji will say that Nnewi should not look at itself as this tiny community within Nigeria. Nnewi is a global growth pole in the making. And our education, education will take us there. And that's why education must become fundamental. And don't know one on our school. Now, the other children are not interested in school. So far, now learning, no, they're excited about learning.
Investment.
they will want to come and join you. Jisenike, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I believe that anytime we want her to come physically, we'll bring her here because she needs to talk to our people but when they see her and read her resume, they know why they have to go to school, especially all of us, or read more. So now we need to conclude, right? So let us call some people, learned people, experienced people who will be on this panel, right? So, and I don't think I will want to read their citations because it's very resounding. So, because some of them actually have commitment beyond this meeting, right? So, and I'll call them straight away. So, I will call on the first person. He nearly would have been governor of Anambra State, a professional, an accountant, by salon, all the certification, both in the UK and in Nigeria, he has them. And he worked in the UK in various places. Now, he has his practice here. So, and close friend of the family, a man who've always seen and liked his engagement, a consummate politician, someone who has actually taken sports to the high level golfer, and he's here. And he came here very early. He came from Enugu. I must go back to Enugu. So may I call up Chief Ben Itiaba to come to the title? That's number one panelist, right? So that is, I think, the vice chairman of the title chief, right? Body of title chief in Newe. But before I call the next person, I want to recognize the presence of Igwe Rizu, Igwe Newe here, represented by the Crown Prince, right? Prince Obianefo Rizu, please. Then, he was accompanied by members of Igwe Royal Cabinet because they were invited. And one of them is still here, Sir Israel C. Okonkwo, right? Yes, chief, double chief, right? Double, yes. And I think I followed them because I'm a cabinet chief too, right? So then Prince, yes, became a former local government chairman. Then we have Sir Nwosu present here. Yes, please clap for him. Then somebody is about to change a lot of things in Newe, right? So, and this is someone that was doing business, doing cinema in the UK and all that. So he came down to Nigeria, managed a lot of, he established the film house. You know the film house in Lagos. So we entered into conversation as is Newe centric. In fact, his great grandfather was named after this street, Ezenwebu Road, right? So, and he now he's doing a cinema. I think the best and biggest cinema you have in Africa, right? It's going to be located just a stone throw away here. So Kene is in our midst. So let us recognize him. Kene Baro, please stand up. You can see his hair. So I think he's practicing his madness in cinema business. So and my son has copied him. So I have in the house. So that's the problem. The another panelist here is professors, and I pity our brother here who would have equally been a professor. So I'll call on a man who was the immediate past dean of Faculty of Arts, right? Nnamdi Azikiwe University, and I know him. He was my classmate, very small boy. Now he's a professor, and he is here. He's one of the panelists, Professor Greg Oji. Do I pronounce your surname? So now, yeah, the third person. I don't want to read their resume because really it's so much, about 3 or 4 pages. You know how they write. So I'm not a professor, so let me skip his resume. Professor Greg Obiamalo is already up. Then I'm calling the next professor. This professor is a gentleman, and he came into this hall without announcing his presence, right? So he's a professor of cardiovascular medicine. Hey, wow. So if you want to faint here, faint, right? We have a doctor that will take care of you. So now, I mean, a professor, not only a doctor, but professor of the heart, cardiovascular. So I will find a word. And Vice Chancellor of Margaret Lawrence University, Galilee, Delta State, right? So in the name of Professor Austin Odele, he's here. So we have to, Professor, welcome. So clap for him. You don't understand. So we have an accountant in between two professors. One professor of science, another one professor of what? Arts. Good. So then, because we are gender sensitive, right? May I call on the, Dr. Uche Chukwu, the Director General of Nigerian Board of Technology Incubation, the one there, Ugwa Matthews, right? So there's another doctor that represents her, right? Dr. Gift Nena Eze. She's a woman. Let's balance this equation now. Yes. So actually, I was supposed to be a professor, but something happened to me. So I'm here with you. So let's even ask you a question. Let me stand from here. So probably you can, Chief Ben Iteba, you heard what has been delivered, and you are from this town. Now, would you want to, because I know you are going somewhere after this, would you want to give us your thought, right? Or maybe a little summary, and again, what you think in a strategic way, what and what we should do, right? To realize, to justify this topic, knowing where we are today, because you know everything. Your parents were educationists, your mom was a teacher, and you're proud of teaching, and you keep on teaching. So, let me give you the microphone. So please, go ahead.
Okay, Ikenga, I first of all want to appreciate and thank you for the wonderful way you have so far piloted this event and moderated this event. That's the first one. So let's appreciate him. The second one, he has proved that Nnewi, when you come to Nnewi, we're beyond just wealth, making money. That Nnewi has quite a number of intellectuals, and he is one, so I appreciate him. Now, I also, before making any comment, do want to appreciate our daughter, Dr. Obi Ezekwesu. We have a mutual friend in England, in a gentleman known as Tim Mordu. And Tim will always tell me, Ben, you know, given who you are and what you have to offer, you should really be very close to Obi, because Obi is just slightly ahead of you. And today, Obi and I are sharing the same platform, albeit virtually. I want to thank her for such an exquisite lecture. And years ago, my mom wrote a book, Education, the Foundation for Development. And I think, given the lecture we've just heard, education is the foundation for wealth creation. And in commending, these are my initial thoughts, in commending Professor Eluchukwu Amuchazi in his response to the lecture, Prof did say that Nnewi was being used as a metaphor in this case. This lecture should be about Ndibo. So I thank the family for coming up with such an apt title for today's lecture. Thank you.
Okay, this question goes to you, Professor Greg Oji Obiamalo. You were born here. You attended the Aotakala, right? So, and the primary school here, and secondary school at New High School. Then I proceeded to University of Nigeria and Nsukka. and later became a professor in the UNIZIC. Now, because we are part of this, we want to find out what are the barriers to improving current educational levels in NEWI as somebody who has seen it through.
Thank you, my classmate and friend, Ikenge Zenwebu. Let me use the opportunity to appreciate our guest speaker, Dr. Obie Zekwesi, and the Momah family, the GSM family. Mommy, thank you so much for keeping the legacy of late daddy. Please, let me just also the representative of the governor, Chris Dechuku, my good friend, the crown prince who is there, and other dignitaries, and then the fellow panelists. Well, the question is about more like my own experience, having passed through all the levels here in NEWI. You remember in time past, people will refer to NEWI as Ndiego, as no Masego Kaima. But the truth of the matter is that
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hello, okay, so we are all around us. We can, in every spheres of life, you can find a NEWI person.
Oh, okay.
In those days when we were talking about professors in the university at UNN, we say NEWI. We took count of professors from NEWI, and we are second to some places like Mbise in terms of number. So we are everywhere. Then my own experience, because here I want to talk about my specific experience because we keep stressing STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But the current has been upgraded to STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So that is to say that every aspect of learning is important. Yes, because what they have, the problem we have is that most times our people will come seeking for admission for their children, and they said, oh, I want my son to go into, I want medicine, law, what else? Engineering, nothing else. For them, that is what being educated means. And we won't blame them. Look at in Momah, there are 4 of them are medical, or they are medical doctors. So if you are found in the arts, it's more like a GAJB. What are you going to do with it? But the truth of the matter is that every aspect of learning, every aspect of education is very important because they complement one another. We need engineering people. NEWI is a town known for engineering, but we also need artists. We need people in the liberal arts. Because if we should all go to sciences, somebody like me won't be here, and the commissioner for industry, Chris Udechuku, won't be here. He read history English as his first degree before he moved on to UK for further studies in the areas of business. So we'll be talking about science, economics, because the topic is more of economics and technology, how to develop a NEWI and things like that. But we should also be looking at it from the point of view that you need to be educated. Obi has said it that education makes you acquire critical thinking. That's the most important thing. It gives you some kind of able pay, you know. So you have the confidence to go anywhere, to enter any office. So the point I'm making, because I can see the moderator trying to moderate my time, but the point I'm making is that please try to find a way of going to the university. You can still do business after university education. So it's not like going to Ajo, Iswafia, and you can still be a well-educated person and still a trader. Thank you.
Okay, Prof, thank you. Thank you. I don't know if I need to disclose that I read microbiology, but I'm now a corporate and investment banker. So I don't know, am I confused or am I not? So let me talk to professor of medicine here. The professor, he had our children, one of the students speak about this issue of must one go to school, about employment. Madam, answer that question. You, as a medical doctor, right, and as a professor, seeing what is happening, like maybe when you come to family donation and all that, you speak the English, but people will donate. How do you manage yourself? When such things happen, when you find yourself around the people of money, either Newi or Igbo land, right? So do you think that education has rewarded you as a professor, as a doctor, and a specialist heart doctor?
Thank you very much. I know that our time is fast spent, so I will stand on the already established protocol, but I must recognize the matriarch of the Momah family and the representative of the governor. I may need to say something so that you will understand the background. Momah bụ onye ọkụzụ, mana amụrụ m na Nnewi ebe a, n'ọkụ na-ebu Nnewi ebe a. I went to school at Oliuru Primary School. I think it's now St. Michael's. And then did my first 3 years in Okongu Memorial Grammar School. Incidentally, I lived where my parents lived in one of the Momahs. So I have always known the Momahs even before I met Tobe as a university undergraduate in University of Nigeria. Suffice it to say too that Dame Tiaba, I've always longed to meet her. I thought I was going to meet her in this meeting because she taught me Agric. So please extend my warm regards to her. And not just that she taught me Agric, I was Agric boy. I don't know what to call it because I took care of the poultry. So I want to lay this background before I now make my comments. The points raised by Professor Muchazi, that this actually should be for Ndibo. That was why I started by saying, and I grew up here before I left for Special Science School Onitsha, and then continue my education from there. The message by the guest speaker is well noted. But I really feel, maybe because I have been into higher education, that the challenge to me is not even, at least for us, may not be so much in the foundation, but how do we put into structure what we are already doing? What is education really? My mother sold rice, so at least I have knowledge of how to sell rice and the things involved. But you see, there is this separation of business and education. When Obi was talking, she talked about the Igbo apprenticeship system, which people are now beginning to study. It's a lot of education. I mean, what is education? By the time you sit down and put it structure-wise. So there is now this argument that maybe some of these children here, during holidays, if their father asks them, come to the shop, they'll say, no, I actually go up. I think that is dangerous, and that is not even helping us as Ndibo. That is why you see families that parents have done a lot, but their children have no knowledge whatsoever of that business. Meanwhile, that business is still something that can be studied. I want to put this question, very simple question. How many projects that are done in Nnamdi Azikiwe, done in Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, that has reviewed the business, the entrepreneurship industries in Nnewi town. Let's go. I mean, we need to come down. We'll make these projects, write these papers, and heap them in somebody's office. Meanwhile, the field is there, untapped. So for me, I think that one of the things I want to drop here is that we really need to redefine what we call education. There are a lot of things unstudied, and as far as I'm concerned, every arm of education is as important as the other. If you are into arts, one of the things, I do a lot of public health things now. We cannot do anything without people who are into mass communication. Because how do you communicate to people? Are you getting it? So the point is that we really need to redefine what we call education and ask ourselves, the businesses, this system that is in this town, how much has it been documented? We should be able to champion the cause of trying to even document these businesses. I mean, sometimes when businessmen want to do something in the education, they build, either build structures. But there is more to it. Rich people from this town can endow a professoral chair that will study the enormity of talents and information in this town. I will volunteer as one of my own contributions to help in structuring what that professoral chair, the kind of research that could be done. And these are things that could be instituted in Nnamdi Azikiwe, in Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University, in different areas, so that we can document some of these things that are happening here, and then ask ourselves, how do we take it to the next level?
Professor, thank you.
Let me stop here. Thank you very much.
Clap for Professor. So this professor, you shouldn't start a church, because if you try it, people will leave their churches and follow you. We have listened to you, and we are going to call you more, right, for this kind of, you opened our eyes, right? Thank you. This is what Dr. Obiozek is called Ako na Uche, as developed by, I think Ikemba, yes, I think I read an article on that. So, Dr. Eze, you people are at Ubu Apati something. Now, incubating something, and you have been incubating it for a very long time. And that's one thing our brother brought to us. At least one of the federal presence we have in Nnewi. So please, can you actually relate what you do that to this team? Is there a way that it actually has to do with education, or how we can actually refine, how can our people be benefit? Okay, link it to education, what we're here for. As regards our people who are here and other people who are around, right? Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just want to observe the protocol here. But first of all, I have to thank the guest speaker for this wonderful lecture on Wicca or Weather. Actually, it's very important we really understand that education is fundamental, because what gives you an edge in the society is what you know, the level of your knowledge. From the level of your knowledge, how can you put the knowledge into the doing? Because what you know, you need to do that. And what you have done in terms of knowing that is really bringing it out into a prototype, what we call prototype. Because in the society now, people pursue money. But what you need to know, that money without education will wither. What we are talking is getting wealthier. Wealthier has to do with the sustainability of what you have. And that is why we have technology incubation. I want to recognize my DG. She is doing a wonderful work in technology incubation. This great man who has brought us together did a lot in my DG's life in helping her to get her MSc, MBA, and she is now having her doctorate degree. And she is the one piloting the affair of technology incubation. So technology incubation has a mandate is to commercialize R&D results. From the university, research is done in the academia, in institutions. These things are on the shelves without going into the market. What is commercialization? Commercialization is all about transforming the intellectual property into marketable products. And that is what we do in technology incubation. For 2 years, we'll give you a unit where you will stay. Your ideas, which you have gotten from school, we help you to write the business plan and give you the necessary environment to nurture your ideas and bring it into a marketable product. So it is very, very important that for you to get to that level of getting these products into the market, you need to learn. And let me let you to know that when you stop learning, you start dying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. So this is very critical for people who are inventors here. When you invent, or people, if you want, you can actually go interact. You have a desk where people can come and know what you are doing, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So I want to take some questions, right? So people, we have to conclude this session in 10 minutes. So if you ask your question in, say, 2-3 seconds, then the person answering won't spend more than 1 minute, right? So we have told you their professions, right? So who has a question to ask? Question? So that panelists would say something, okay. So yes, I think I'll prefer children, really, because some people here, even if you ask, what thing concern, the children, who? Okay, you, okay. Stand up, say your name, and ask your question.
Okay. I am Momah from Kentina International School, Nnewi North. Then those inventors that started with experience. I think they started with experience and not with education. Those people that made these computers and the rest, they started with experience and not education. So people that are here now and like me now, I want to be a mechanical engineer by the grace of God. And those people that started the engineering and the rest, is it a must that I will be educated to go into that field?
Thank you very much. Let's take another question, right? Huh? Okay, if you want to take it. Okay,
yes, I can take it. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'll be very, very brief. My younger sister that asked that question, Obi Ezekwesili spoke about 2 types of education that I want to highlight. I mean, her lecture was quite broad, but 2 things I want to highlight from her lecture. First, getting the right foundational education. We're sitting in this beautiful edifice. Indeed, My wedding was here in 2nd of January 1993. It's a lovely hall. And if the foundation of anything is not right, it cannot stand. I hope we know this. So when you talk about education, getting the foundation education right is the key. That's the first one that I want to highlight. The second one was that she talked about, yes, we're using Newe as a metaphor here, but she did talk about, and Professor Muchazi told us that we should go beyond Newe to Ndibo. And we shouldn't just be talking about Newe being the best place in terms of wealth creation in Anambra State. But Ndibo, sort of moving ahead much further than we're doing now. We're not doing badly at the moment. And if you realize and understand that we're now in the 4th industrial revolution, she talked about technology being the key driver to innovation. The new world is being very innovative. My sister, the question you asked, you cannot get there without foundational education. And I hope it's as clear as that. So I think that is very clear. Get your foundational education first, and then you can build on it, and then to become the expert you want to be moving ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Vinay. Thank you very much. I think what we will do now, all these people here that are here, these great people here, will have their numbers and email address, right? So you can send an email. If you have, some people may want to ask personal questions, then we can send to them, they will answer you, right? Is that okay? So because I need to release them here, and we are spending our time, we plan to leave by 3, but we exceeded 3. So if we can do maybe, say, 7 more minutes, all of us will be gone here. So that we'll get value for why we're here. So, and so please clap the following one. Clap for me again, please. So you may get to, yes. So Prof, you want to say something?
Well,
closing remark, there's 10 seconds.
Well, it's just to thank everybody for this very interesting discussion, and we will take the conversation further. The points have been raised. We'll continue to think. I don't think that Nnewi as a town is doing badly. That's my conviction. But what we need to do is to take it up to higher grounds, especially in the area I pointed out. There are lots of opportunities that we are not utilizing. Universities are not just there to, churn out graduates that have no solution to immediate problems. Let us redefine our, approach to university education. I think that is my main interest. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Doctor, your closing remark.
It's good you pursue your dream, have passion for education because it's the foundation, and also think of entrepreneurship. Think of self-development. Think of what products you can develop through your research work, and think of commercializing it, getting it into the market. We are here to help you to build up your enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Prof, you have 10 seconds.
My final word is just to thank the organizers. Let's make this a constant discussion because we need to get there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So please, let's clap for them again. Or somebody, yes, I'm coming. So you may want to go back to your seats, right? So please, just a moment. Thank you, Dalo. So quickly, the governor has a speech to make, right? So, and we have to quickly give you the microphone to the representative of Anambra State to deliver. He's supposed to be the chairman of this event, right? To deliver, it's bearing in mind that the time is far spent because one of us, otherwise he has to feed us here. Please clap for him.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I want to thank the organizers of this event. Fine here. As I said I also want to thank the guest keynote speaker, our most distinguished Dr. Obieze Ekosiri, brother and sister to Mr. Governor, whom I'm representing here, and sister to Mr. Governor, whom I'm representing here, and Professor Amuchazi, whom everybody knows very well, national asset as well. It's very fitting that he also contributed to Dr. Obi's presentation by highlighting to us that this is beyond the Nnewi. It's actually about Ndi Igbo Niile. As you know, Professor Charles Chukwu Masarudo himself is a teacher, he's a professor, he's a lecturer, consultant, economist, and now executive governor of Anambra State. In Anambra, we are doing everything to ensure that we don't just say that our people are our greatest assets. The government of Professor Chukwu Charles Soludo is investing in our people as our greatest asset. Mr. Governor's priority is in education of our people, and you may all also be aware that not so long ago, over 5,000 teachers were recruited for the primary reason that we wanted to reduce the number of students in a class size by teachers. Because we believe that, like Dr. Obie was saying, that some people go through the school system, the educational system, without actually having the education go through them. And Mr. Governor realized that it is important that we reduce the number of teachers. We reduce the ratio of students to teachers, and therefore also enable the teachers, because the number of the class size is now smaller, you have 30 to 40 students per class, then the teacher knows every student by name and can help the weak ones to become as strong as the strongest ones. That was why one of the first things the government of Professor Chukwu Charles Soludo did was to recruit teachers, and to recruit them through a competitive system, through the use of technology, and to screen them through the same thing, because we need to benchmark our society against where we are now. And then these teachers are now going through a continuous learning process to ensure that the knowledge they share with our students are updated. It is for that singular reason that the governor also recently shared out about 2,000 computers to all the principals and head teachers of different secondary and primary schools across Anambra State, so that these people have the resources they need, not just to access learning online, but to be able to document data that will be helpful to the measurement of progress in different educational institutions. Because the governor says, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. The other thing that we have done to also ensure that education is prioritized in every home in Anambra is that we have made education in all public primary, secondary school to JSS 3 completely free. And the reason education is free in Anambra today is to ensure that no child is left behind, that every child has an opportunity to be educated enough to compete in today's 21st century world, because knowledge is currency today. Nobody pays you any more than what you know, and you're not able to deliver value to society or to yourself other than to the extent to which you have knowledge. So this is why education is free in Anambra State today. Now, the governor is also working very hard to ensure that students from SS1 to 3 may, in the not too distant future, be included in that free education program, so that by the time our youths are through with primary and secondary education, they are truly equipped to face the world. They can write their names, they can read their names, they can read contracts, they can write contracts. And when they travel abroad, whether locally or internationally, they can fend for themselves correctly. Nobody in today's world can be any real use to themselves without proper education. And it is to ensure that those who don't have the resources to educate themselves are not left out, and that the uncles and the aunties that are usually paying some of these educational fees and their parents can also use the same money to invest in other aspects of the child's life. That's why education in Anambra has been made free for the first time in 32 years of Anambra's establishment as a state. Now, there are other programs as well that the government is presently pursuing. This year, we have spent over 3 billion. When we matched it with the ASUDEN spending, it came to 6 billion for the primary purpose of ensuring that our primary and secondary schools are properly equipped, that they have the right classrooms, that the roofs where they're leaking are sealed, and where it needs to be re-roofed, it is re-roofed, and so on. And that the schools that don't have proper health and sanitation systems have some built for them. Those that don't have water system have water boreholes sunk for them. So this 6 billion, having been spent in this very year, budget cycle, at the last Executive Council meeting, we were reviewing over 274 secondary schools that are in Anambra State, reviewing their physical state to ensure that the learning environment, the education environment for our students and our young people are fit for the purpose of education. And the government is going to be investing to ensure that the environment is clean and safe and green, and to ensure that the physical structures that support education in our schools are also fit for purpose, and that the teachers themselves get continuous education and training. So it is not a question of whether we are withering or getting wealthier. It is that in Anambra State, education is a priority. It is also because we believe that an educated population is a wealthy population. And it is for the same reason also that we ensure that we have free education. I mean that we have free healthcare. Because the governor says that a healthy population is a wealthy population. And it is the same reason that we ensure that our women who are our mothers who are pregnant, when they go to hospitals, they get free natal care, prenatal care, natal care, and postnatal care, and that their prescriptions are free. For the first time in 32 years, again. Because it was not so long, we had stories that if somebody went to a hospital, they will say the hospital will say they can't treat them until they have their card. They have not bought their health card, which would normally cost 1,000, 2,000, or to 5,000. And in some cases, while that is being done, the life will be lost. Today in Anambra, education is free and health is free. So, I would also want to speak to what the government is doing to ensure that those of you who are in school today, because as I look at the audience, I see that there's a multi-generational representation. There are children from primary and secondary schools who are here. It is a beautiful thing because this program is as much for us as it is for them. And I want you all who are in school to know that the government of Professor Chukwuma Soludo is working very hard today to ensure that some of the things that we're even experiencing here today doesn't happen going forward. We're working to ensure that Anambra will have 24-hour power supply. And we're working to ensure that that goal is achieved in the life of this administration. We're also working very hard to set up industrial clusters. We're building a brand new city, Anambra Mixed-Use Industrial City, on a 4,141 hectares of land. And when that structure is completed, as we propose, in the short term and in the life of this administration, it will reduce unemployment in Anambra to 2%, because over 200,000 jobs will be created directly in that asset. We're also finished, not just the master plan for Anambra Mixed-Use Industrial City, we have a master plan for Onitsha 2.0. As you know, those of you who used to go to Onitsha know how beautiful it was in the early days, those who are mature in the audience. But in recent time, the city itself has suffered decline. And what Mr. Governor has done is not just to clean up the rubbish that is there, because we have a clean and green Anambra policy. But what he has done is go massively into urban regeneration. So we're reconstructing the roads, we're putting back street lights, we're doing, restoring urban water supply, and we're ensuring that the criminal elements that used to disturb normal life are completely eliminated. And we have a skills acquisition, vocational skills acquisition program that ensures that some of those people go through a learning program whereby they acquire skills that will enable them to become useful, meaningful members of society. And so we have also developed a new master plan for Onitsha on a 5,000 hectare land that is on the banks of the second Niger Bridge. That is a project that is live and will be unfolded in the very short term. We also have urban regeneration going on in Awka, and we have a brand new city, Awka 2.0, on a 5,075 hectare land. The master plan for this same structure is there. For Nnewi, we need a master plan. Because Nnewi, I'm from Nnewi. We don't have one. Everybody and anybody can do anything in Nnewi. The market and the industry for which Nnewi is known is now encroaching into our communities. There are no distinctions anymore. Our villages are almost disappearing, and we cannot allow that. I have asked for the governor has repeatedly made repeated statements about that. The last time he came to commission a primary healthcare center at Obie Benato in Uruago, he said very clearly that the way Nnewi is developing is not to be tolerated, that there must be order. Communities that are home to the indigenous people must be preserved. Industrial layouts and centers and clusters must be designated and protected and provided for. The markets must be reconstructed and rebuilt and established as centers of commerce. We cannot have the market encroaching into local communities. Nobody in Nnewi should allow themselves to find that they're building new structures in places where they will not be tolerated, because in the near term, it doesn't matter what it costs you, it will be pulled down. So I was just sitting here and having a conversation with the TC chairman, and it was part of what we were discussing, that Nnewi will have a master plan. And it falls on our able TC chairman, Engineer Chris Obiora, to work with us at the center to ensure that Nnewi has an orderly development, and that we don't have in ancestral homes, we're not going to go anywhere. Those of us who are living in London, living in America, living in Abuja and so on, when we come back, Nnewi is our home. Kene is building the largest cinema multiplex in Nnewi today, the largest in Africa. We were living in London together, and in London, Ekene and I partnered to host the first ever mainstream Nollywood event at Leicester Square, London. We mainstreamed Nollywood in London. And it was after that he now came back to decide to use that knowledge, because he was managing the global chains, the global cinema houses in London. He now came back to Nigeria and said he was going to bring the technology of those film houses, their capacity and the distribution that he knows to manage in London. He's going to bring it to Nigeria. And so he went to set up Film House at Film Africa, and now Comworld. So you can see that education is everything. You cannot do without it. And this is why this lecture is so apt. This is why you see Dr. Biezekwesili making the keynote speech. You see our icons like herself and Dr. Amuchazi being present at the inaugural lecture. And Mr. Governor, obviously, allowing me to not just be here as a son of the soil, but to also speak for him at this special event. I thank you, madam, for holding up the flag. I thank you all, my brother, Momah, and all the Momah family here represented. This is a dialogue that should continue. And I want to say something. In a year, there are 365 days. When we set out a day like this to share knowledge and to speak about things that are important to us, we should not rush it. We should take our time to prepare ourselves, come out, spend that day, and reflect on our lives as a people, our society, the journey we are on, and how we move from where we are to where we should be. Ka ife dị mkpa wee bụrụ ife dị mkpa, nke bara uru abụrụ nke bara uru. Abịa ebe a na-echi ọzọ, anọrọma na ebe a na-echi ọzọ. You spend your time, you go through the rituals, the ceremony, and all of that, and you come out certified. When we come here to discuss the future of our society, Nnewi as a town, the future of our society, Nnewi as a people, and as it has evolved into the future of our people as Ndi Igbo, we should have a lot of time. Thank you all so much.
Please clap for Mr. Governor, presented by our brother, Dr. Dechuku. Thank you. So this man is an orator, and I think God will prepare him further for things he will do for the state and Anambra State and Nigeria. You know. So now we are concluding now. Let us call Dr. Tobe Momah to do the call to action, which I know will be like 2 minutes. Thereafter, Nkem Momah would give a vote of thanks. After that, then Pastor Ezekiel would lead us in closing prayer.
Thank you all so much.
So, our mama here, our wife, will do the vote of thanks. So sorry for that mistake. All right.
Thank you. We're standing at the threshold of history. This is the first time the Sam Momah Annual Lecture Series is holding in Nnewi. And the reason is because Sam Momah wanted education to be at home. He wanted it to be at the grasp of the local population. In your hands, when you came in, they gave you envelopes that had a card in it. Why do we do this every year? Because Sam Momah Foundation has a vision. We want to equip 6 regional Sam Momah libraries in the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. Your little contribution is what makes, if you show those pictures of the University of Lagos, is what makes that possible. So far, we have received 1 million naira from the National Technology Incubation Center. We have also received, I want to thank Dr. Uche Chukwu. We have also received 200,000 naira from Zenith Bank. We want to put a Sam Momah library at the National Defense Academy. Maybe your child will go to the National Defense Academy and read in a Sam Momah library. That room will not die. It will live as long as that educational facility in Kaduna exists. So it will multiply, your gift will multiply into the lives of people yet unborn if Christ tarries. So in your hands, if you came here, is an envelope. Inside the envelope is a card. The card has the account number. For those of you on Zoom, we put the account number on the screen. For those of you who are maybe not with the visual, we can run it, we can read it out. It's the Zenith Bank 101-576-3124. If you just show the pictures of the Lagos commissioning, we did that with about 5 to 6 million naira. State-of-the-art, air-conditioned facilities, boardroom-like structures, 12 chairs. Students can come in there, read, not be disturbed. You can surf the internet, you can browse. That was what we did at the University of Lagos. We've done it in Enugu, we've done it in Abuja, and we are looking forward to doing it in Uyo and in Kaduna and in Yola in the next 3 years. You and I, with this support from all of us, can make this dream come to pass. So if you have your envelopes and you want to write on it, there's a name at the back. It says I, then you put your name, pledge, a number. You put a number there and you just put it in Naira. okay? And then once you put that in the envelope, somebody is standing beside you in white tops to pick up your envelopes. Just hand it over to them. If you want to do a wire transfer or transfer, you can transfer directly to this. Some people are asking, does General Momah, Sam Momah Foundation need my money? Yes, we do. We do what we do because of the financial contributions of people like you. We put this together because of the financial contributions of people like you. A classmate of mine sent me $200 today. Her name is Unjideka Okonkwo. Her father was a very famous, I think he was a doctor in Nnewi before he passed away. Her grandfather was the famous Okonkwo Kanu, who was a big-time trader. But she has not forgotten her roots. Even though she lives in Indianapolis, she sent me $200 today to say, give this to the Sam Momah Foundation. That's how we do what we do. Another of the great sons of Nnewi, Chuma Ulasi, sent me $100 2 days ago. He's in Texas, but what? He has not forgotten his roots. So don't ever imagine my contribution is too small. Anything and anyhow you can make it happen for somebody else, it is worth it. Look forward to getting your contributions. Look forward to seeing this National Defense Academy Reading Room launched in 2024. And look forward to seeing you back in 2025 for the next Sam Momah annual lecture series. God bless you, and thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you, Tobe. So I think, where is the envelope? Is it going to be shared here? Okay, outside? Okay, here, please receive. Okay, we know we are people of government. This Nnewi here, there is a government in Nnewi, right? And the chairman of the local government is here. And with this money going straight to them, from federal to them now, and I think he's a darling to so many contractors now. So I call on Honorable Engineer Chris Obiora, our brother, and our local government chairman. Let me have 1 minute talk and welcome our guests and thank people before Momah will come to give vote of thanks. Please clap for him. This is our local government chairman.
I welcome you all. Let me remain on the existing protocols. The Momahs and Momah, we thank you so much for bringing this annual lecture to Nnewi the first time. It's mind-provoking, and we appreciate it so much. And we plead that it's going to be a yearly affair. Let it be held here every year, please. We appreciate the speaker, Mr. Obiose, for our mind-provoking lecture and incitement. It can get away. We appreciate you so much too. Please, my commissioner, you are so wonderful. We thank you so much. The honorables and all my stakeholders here and students, I welcome you all. Please, you mentioned library, this library issue. Good. Yes, as I speak now, I don't have any functional library in Nnewi. I've been trying to. We used to have one at Triangle, yeah, and they said they were going to vacate for renovation. Right thereafter, they didn't come back. I've been fighting. So I'm going to give you a space where we can build a new library, very functional one. So that because charity begins at home. As students, you people have to work hard, and then, education is key. There is no substitute. Knowledge is basic. Once you acquire basic knowledge and education, you can veer into any sphere of life and succeed there. So I thank you so much for bringing this here and there. I pray that God will continue to guide and direct you all, and so that next time around, when I was having a very great improvement and changes in our lives and maybe in Navy. Thank you so much. By next week, I must appoint out of this place. Next week, yes. That's for sure.
So, meaning that when you're a library, I have to hear Gonu. So, I forgot that I have to go to Nkokwe. Okay, so I'm on Atolo Malamal. So, that German, I thank you. God bless you. Please go on the Osmo, nearby our library. Next week. So, all the Dr. Meka na to be full of the up. Kalola Haka, Eba library. All the Kaka Booz on the before I did outside. Okay, okay. You have better to for a. So, because actually, we are inviting Mama, the matriarch of this family, a very beautiful woman. You know, I'm a mama and didn't know. Can't maybe Malandanam. But, Mama, vote of thanks. Thank you, ma'am.
What a wonderful day. This is the day the Lord has made. We rejoice and we are glad in it. I'm standing on all the existing protocol. Our prince has gone. Our commissioner representing the governor of Anambra State. We appreciate everybody, our local government chairman. God bless all of you. In Jesus' mighty name. In Jesus' name.
So, okay. Open, oh God. Okay, that's good. So I'm now what that you will na that library, no doctrine of necessity, na area na name. So how people go for one haka. Maka nka aduna. Ikpo no yen na ewu tego ka. Ana le ana afi anyo he. Nka mmesoto. So then I be the ofuma and I end ofuma. So kai will put fire meleba, tipana catchineke. So anima oisin chuaja, Pastor Ezekiel upon so do it here in a this country in a Belenam if I can go.
Shall we all rise up, please? As a mark of honor to the Almighty God. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you and bless you for making this event a reality. We give you thanks and appreciation for bringing everyone here safely. Thank you because in spite of the situations of the nation, you have given us peace here in this city. We are indeed grateful. Thank you for all the instruments you have used, the keynote speaker, the matriarch of the Momah family, and every other dignitary who has been here patiently. We appreciate you, Lord. Thank you also for the good weather. This is a sign that your hand is upon what we have done here today. Father, we commit everything, the plans, the projects into your hands. We are asking that you open the heavens and make resources available sufficiently to execute everything we have discussed in Jesus' name. We also pray that our nation will continue to enjoy and experience your good hands for protection. And we pray in particular for Newi. Grant that where you are taking Newi to, in the global space, no other community will pull us down or replace us in Jesus' name. Father, we are believing that by next year, if Jesus tarries, the next lecture, we have more people in attendance, more dignitaries, and we have a nationwide coverage, and everything will be wonderful and peaceful. Thank you, our Father. We know you brought us here safely. We are well assured you are taking us back safely too. We give you all the glory and honor. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed.
Thank you. I don't know, there's something said about AI and all that. So we can actually be doing it here and be transmitting it worldwide. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everyone.